Welcome to this week's episode of the ICC Podcast. I am Sela Gantaini. It's Friday, June 26, 2026.
As a legal department, we are focused on one key research area, which is policy and legislative reforms. Basically, it is our thought as a commission that our mandate, our operations, and our powers are constrained because the act that we operate under only has about 20 sections.
This week, we focus on an important milestone in the Commission's journey towards legal reform. As part of its 5-year strategic plan, the Commission is pursuing reforms to the legal framework that governs its operations. Currently, the ICC is established under the Police Act, where its mandate is outlined in just 20 sections. However, the Commission is working towards having its own standalone act, a move expected to strengthen and expand its operational mandate. In line with this goal, ICC officials recently attended a legislative drafting training. The training equipped participants with skills necessary for the next phase of the reforms process, the drafting of a proposed bill. ICC Public Relations Officer Hape Njalamano is speaking with the Commission's Chief Legal Officer, Counsel Nicely Msoya.
This was a training in legislative drafting of bills, drafting of laws, that was being offered by the Africa Institute for Capacity Development in Johannesburg. So it took place from the 1st June to the 12th. It was a 2-week course. Usually legislative drafting is course with a lot of components and usually it takes a lot of time. I think the course that is offered by SAM, it takes about 3 months. But this one took 2 weeks and we chose it for reasons of convenience and also financial efficiency because we just wanted to get basic skills to guide the process of bill development, legislation, because as you know, we are in the process of coming up with our own act, a thing that is reflected in the key research area 3 under policy and legislative reforms in our 2025-2029 strategic plan.
Now talking about the strategic plan, what is it that is in there that talks about the running of affairs of the Commission?
The strategic plan itself has 4 key research areas, but as a legal department, we are focused on one key research area, which is policy and legislative reforms. Basically, it is our thought as a commission that our mandate, our operations, and our powers are constrained because the act that we operate under only has about 20 sections. There is no expansion in terms of powers, authority, privileges, enforcement. So under our 2025-2029 strategic plan, we thought it wise that we should include policy and legislative reforms so that we deal with issues of statutory constraint in terms of powers and authority. So under key research area 3, as I said, there is policy and legislative reforms. This will entail that we amend the current operating law, either by way of amendment, leaving it there, or by way of actually reviewing the law and coming up with a new act altogether. We would develop a bill. Now, for us to develop a bill, we need the skills necessary, requisite for drafting such a bill. So, under the activities capacitating us to have those skills, there was training as well. And the training that we went for in legislative drafting is one of those activities under the training to capacitate the legal department so that we lead the process of legislative reforms as reflected in the strategic plan.
At the end of the day, it will be people in this country who are going to benefit from all this.
Of course. A clarified law benefits the people because the law operates as a tool for social engineering, as a tool that influences the behavior of people. Where we clarify the law or where we remove all ambiguities and doubts, it is a benefit to people. The direct benefits are, once our mandate, our powers and our authorities are clarified, our interaction with the people will be on a more clarified basis. So they will know exactly the type of services they're coming to get and the limits of our mandate as well. The limits of our authority, the extent and the limit of our authority. Those things will be clarified and those will offer a direct benefit to the public. Our enhanced authority will lead to a transformed police service. Right now, there are some things perhaps that we cannot do because the law is not very clear whether we can do or cannot do.
Are we on the right track or we are facing some hiccups? What would you say about that?
Just small hiccups, but they haven't derailed the larger scheme of our planning, because we were supposed to do build development by Q3 of 2025, but due to budgetary challenges, we delayed in that process because the first step towards build development was to capacitate the personnel, and the first stage was training. So we've had that training. Next stage is we now have to expedite the process of build development. By now, we should have started consultations, but like I said, we are facing budgetary constraints. We had planned for this process for 2 years, starting from the third quarter of 2025 to the third quarter of 2027. So we're still within that planning period. And now with this training, we are ready to hit the ground running. Subject to availability of resources, we should be able to catch up on the timelines and align our activities according to how we plan them.
Before we go, do you have any final remarks on this?
We just call for support from all members of the public and the government. This is a very important process that we are undertaking. It's not just for the benefit of the Commission. Like I said, there are primary and secondary benefits to the public as well. In any case, legal reform, in whatever form it takes, is a very important process. So we call upon all stakeholders to support this process.
And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of the ICC Podcast. Today, we highlighted the Commission's efforts to strengthen its legal mandate through legislative reform and capacity building. If you would like to lodge a complaint against a police officer or the police service, call our toll-free line 4314. I am Sela Gantayeni. Thank you for listening and goodbye.